lesson. Life is a setback and life is progression. Life is uneasy at times, life is comfortable. Life will lift you up and at times, life will humble you. Life is a gift, yep, you better thank the Lord for it. Every chance you get, someone is less fortunate. Life goes in circles, life throws you curveballs. Life can be deceiving like preachers in the church halls. Life isn't promised. If I could be honest, the fact that I'm alive, that time has me astonished. Cause I came from the underground, being tossed around, being lost and found. Now they adore the sound of the priest, far from a nuance. Verses are proverbs, writtens are the new psalms. Another song for the blocks and the avenues. Everything is plain, I don't speak to them in parables.
I wanna praise you, Yahweh.
I wanna praise you.
I wanna thank you, Yahweh. I'm so grateful.
I'm so grateful.
Yahweh. I wanna thank you, Yahweh.
For the power I see the world through different eyes. Every Sunday got the preacher telling different lies, hearing things that I really couldn't visualize. Should've listened, Big said you'd be hypnotized. I was a victim too, I say respectfully. They all up in the soup, don't know the recipe. Talking about I'm not who I was bred to be. Count me out, man, who made you the referee? Trying to get stripes, trying to cloud chase. At 19, I made an about face. Thanks to Christ, it's also about grace. And they lied when they said it ain't about race. But that's another song, I ain't the first to tell you. Woke up on a deeper and a surface level. Learned the laws and the laws changed my attitude. And this song is to show you how a gratitude. I'm so grateful.
I wanna praise you, Yahweh. I wanna thank you.
I wanna thank you.
Yahweh. I'm so grateful.
We're so
Yahweh. I wanna thank you. Yahweh.
Now let it ride.
I wanna praise you. I wanna thank you.
Fuck, man. Yo, what's good? And all this work we done put in, they putting money over God. Shit. Don't worry about it, man. You're putting God over money. Come.
Yo, I teach in the streets cause I want to. I teach in the streets cause I have to. Your pastors don't do it, your teachers don't do it, religion don't do it, we got you. Whether they hear it or whether they don't, at the end of the day, that's their choice. We gotta replenish, where there is no vision, the people will perish with no voice. Peep the game, study the word and ignore the lanes. In time you learn to keep the line tamed, everything is time and mixed in with change. Heathens, they get it the same, putting them all in the chain. The vultures eating their brains, the truth to you looking strange, the message is still the same. Don't care how you feel about me, you're taking shots like paparazzi. I'm strong like Samson with the power of David, you can take a chance, I'm all about the action. I hustle but don't mean came, and I say I buy and flip in the trap. Don't fall for a chick who's playing the trick, the pretty face only attract. Roam in the jungle, gotta use wisdom, so I stay legally strapped. Say what you say, feel what you feel, but there's no emotions and facts. Danger when we alone, so imagine together we're rolling in packs. Heathens is mad, Israel is back, the natives, Hispanics, and blacks. Roam in the jungle, gotta use wisdom, so I stay legally strapped. Say what you say, feel what you feel, but there's no emotions and facts. Danger when we alone, so imagine together we're rolling in packs. Heathens is mad, Israel is back, the natives, Hispanics, and blacks. Enemies feel like they in the maze, cowards learn when they in the grave. I'm reading the times when we were slaves, now I'm looking around like we're still slaves. Without God we won't be saved, now we got the truth so we won't be played. I remember searching, first time I heard it, and even today I'm amazed. Don't lose focus, fulfill your purpose, searching the scriptures daily. Stay on the mission and ready for war against all the sons of perdition. What we do is not an easy job, where you find there's no crack a day to job. We've been in the streets way before the blogs, we can see the storm way before the fog. Refuting the lies with truth, me and my soldiers and troops, keeping the laws what we do, sticking together like glue. Still be me in the coop, still be me in the hoop. There ain't nothing changed, I still want the best for you. Complete the mission, strapping our boots, soldiers salute, aim and shoot. We riding, we grinding, making sure the family's straight and we good. Standing firm with this walk, to all of the haters, we here for good. Keep feast days in these last days, used to gang bang in my past days. That was either jail or early grave, or praises, I'm still here today. Roaming the jungle, gotta use wisdom, so I stay legally strapped. Say what you say, feel what you feel, but there's no emotions and facts. Danger when we alone, so imagine together we're rolling in packs. Heathens is mad, Israel is back, the natives, Hispanics, and blacks. Israel, we back. They tryna stop us, but they can't. Stay strong and carry on. Kum Yashala. Heathens is mad, Israel is back, the natives, Hispanics, and blacks. Heathens is mad, Israel is back, the natives, Hispanics, and blacks.
All right, shalom. Shar Shabbat to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. It's your brother from the Bach from representing L.O.I, more specifically L.O.I Detroit.
This brother Mike Allah from L.O.I Detroit. Shalom, people.
Gonna get right into it, family. Having a conversation. It's been, a couple weeks, as far as the topic, y'all see the title, origins of wedding rings. The Israelites used them, right? So we're kind of gonna go into it because you definitely have some people that believe that we, actually use them. You know what I'm saying? And it literally comes from, us being in captivity. Us, as a matter of fact, let's start out with Jeremiah 17. I was gonna start out with something else. Start out with Jeremiah 17. All right, because we're gonna start out with that. It's something that happened, and the reasons why we see these things and we literally believe in these things. You know what I'm saying? We start doing after what we, grew up learning. A lot of us don't know any better, right?
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17 and verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever.
So we pissed the Lord off, man. We pissed the Lord Yahweh off, and he said, you're going to discontinue from your heritage. So you're going to forget the things that your forefathers did. You know what I'm saying? You're going to forget everything. You're going to not even believe in me at a point in time. You know what I'm saying? So this is part of the reason we believe in certain things like wedding rings and believe in certain things like going to the other nations to marry us and things like that. And again, we know that the Lord, he'll wink at your ignorance. You know what I'm saying? He tells us that. He said, I'll wink at your ignorance. You know what I'm saying? But when you become knowledgeable of what it is you're supposed to be knowledgeable about, then I expect you to do accordingly. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why, we push these lessons out, whether it be about this or any other topic. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna get right into it. So let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 3. Read verses 5 and 6, and then we're gonna go down to verse 31. Yeah, verse 31.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, starting at verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path.
Right. So in all our ways, we're supposed to acknowledge him. If what we're doing, like with our actions, doesn't line up to scriptures, then we simply shouldn't just be doing it. So if you can't find, you know what I'm saying, us literally proposing with wedding rings and putting them on the left hand of a woman, you know, and even it's even worse now. You have women getting down on one knee. You know what I'm saying? It's worse now, and they're proposing with wedding rings. You know, so if it doesn't line up inside the Bible, if we don't see a man getting on his knee to ask a woman for his hand in marriage, for her hand in marriage, and vice versa, then we shouldn't be doing it. We should find out what actually happened, and we have a few different examples that we're gonna go into today, right? But read verse 31.
Verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways.
All right, so we're not supposed to envy him. We're not supposed to do anything that he does, anything that he implements, especially when it go against scripture. You know, so us literally, if we literally go and bow down to a woman asking for her hand in marriage, you know, that's literally, you're basically saying, hey, rule over me. You know, you're bound down to a knee is a form of submitting, right? And we know as the men, we're supposed to be the leads. So why do we bow down on one knee? It's because Esau literally taught us that. Right? It's these other nations that literally teaches us these things, and we follow in behind it and as it being correct when the whole time it's been wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna share my screen real quick because it's a article that I pulled up or whatever, and it's just going into some history.
Hey, can I bring out something real quick? What you just
Con,
talk about the one knee?
con,
Let me get Proverbs 31 and 3. I'll read it so you can go ahead and get what you got to get. All right. So, like the brother said, like you don't want to, when we're going down as a man, you going down on one knee. You know that knee means submission, right? But also, King Lemuel, right? When you read about in Proverbs 31, it gives that example. What it says is, this is the book of Proverbs 31 and verse 3. Give not thy strength unto woman, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. Right? How will that destroy a man? Because you're giving her power. And we know that the order, as the Most High said, that the man is the head of the woman. So when we're doing that, we have to stay committed to the scriptures, because the world has told us that the man is lower than the woman, as well as the man is lower than Esau and everybody else. But we have to stay continuation of the laws, statutes, and commandments to know that, hey, God says that we supposed to be the head and not submit ourselves, because this also breaks us down and makes us more weak and submissive to them. I learned that.
con. You able to see this? Able to see the screen?
God.
Okay, con. So what we have here is it's called Cape Town Diamond Museum.org, right? And they're just giving, a little history on wedding rings and the time frame it kind of started in, right? So as y'all can see in this image here, is literally, it looks like a picture of them literally giving a ring. You know what I'm saying? Literally giving a ring. So, but we're gonna start. You can start. You can actually start right at the top, and I'm gonna scroll down.
This article is from the Cape Town Diamond Museum. It says, for centuries, couples around the world have been symbolizing their unconditional love for one another with a beautiful diamond engagement ring. Discover the fascinating history of the wedding ring and why it
So,
has become a customary way to showcase your love and commitment.
Salaki had changed, didn't it? Yep. Go back. I was trying to scroll down, but this thing ain't popping up over here. It's not popping up for me to scroll down. Salakia family. It's definitely just working. Let me see. Let me try to refresh it and see if it worked that way. This is definitely not letting me scroll. There it is. There we go. All right, there you go. You can keep going.
All right. So it says the history and first exchange of a wedding ring. Did you know the first wedding ring dates back to 3,000 years ago? The first recorded evidence of a formal exchange of rings between two people was found in ancient Egypt and ancient Egyptian writings, better known as papyrus scrolls, featured couples exchanging rings made of hemp or reeds.
All right, which is what you kind of saw in that picture above. All right, go ahead.
These rings generally didn't last long and were replaced by either leather or ivory. The more expensive the material, the more love was shown to the person receiving the ring.
All right, and you see that? So, and this is what you get you'll have sisters literally comparing diamonds. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, my ring bigger than yours. My man love me more than your man love you. You know what I'm saying? Like these are the type of things that is just mind blowing. You know what I'm saying? You're literally basing your love on the size of a ring, and that's crazy to me. All right, go ahead.
All right. In addition, the type of material also represented the net worth of the giver. Documented evidence showed that these rings symbolized everlasting love and commitment between two people. The circle of the ring represented no beginning and no end. The inside of the ring symbolized the future, which still applies to the symbol of rings today.
All right, let's keep going because it didn't stop in ancient Egypt, right? Keep going.
All right. So in ancient Rome, the groom would represent his future bride with an iron ring. This gesture started the trend of using precious metals in our wedding bands today. The durable metal represents performance and strength, representing the bond of the couple. Evidence dates back that Romans were the first to engrave their metal rings. The Romans, as well as the Greeks, wore the symbolic ring on the fourth finger on the left, as we wear it today.
All right, so remember when we just read in Proverbs, it says, "Envy not thy oppressor and choose none of his ways." These are all of these other nations that are doing these things, that adopted these customs. And as you can see, Romans always want to be first in something, even though they got it from ancient Egypt. You know what I'm saying? And this is what we see in today's time when we look at high-rise buildings, when we look at all of these other different things that we see. All that they went back to ancient Egypt. You know what I'm saying? And then so on and so forth to the Greeks, to the Romans, right? It's just a continuous thing. They literally took these things of old and then brought them into now, and we do exactly what they have us doing, which is the exact reason why we're in this captivity today. Right? But keep going.
The ring finger, as we know it today, was believed to contain the vena amoris, a vein that leads straight to the heart.
I see that. So they believe in something. This is like science right here. You know what I'm saying? They're literally believing in science. They're believing that a ring could be on this vein, and because you have this ring on, you automatically you feel that love, and it goes straight to your heart. When your heart is nothing but a vessel that pumps blood. That's it. There's no feeling down there, right? You know your heart beating because your mind is working. If you
Con.
if your brain ain't functional, it doesn't matter whether your heart beating or not. Yeah, you are alive because blood is flowing. You know what I'm saying? But being brain dead is you might as well say you dead. You're a vegetable. That's why they call you a vegetable, because you can't do nothing. You sit there and blood is flowing, but nothing is there. All right, keep going.
The ring finger, as we know it today, was believed to contain the vena amoris, a vein that leads straight to the heart. When the ring was placed on the vein of love, it represented the sacred union formed between two people. Up until today, a beautiful engagement ring symbolizes the unconditional love between couples. Explore the fascinating history of a diamond engagement ring and how the design progressed through the years here.
So what about your Howard saying you leave your father and your mother and cleave unto your wife? Why is that not a representation? Why is that not symbolism? We want to take these material things and say, oh, you love me because you gave me this. You know what I'm saying? Our love works because you gave me this. You know what I'm saying? It's preposterous. You know what I'm saying? So now keep in mind, right? Because I'm gonna play a video too after this. Keep in mind the way that this thing looks, this ring here, right? Just keep in mind that, right? So we scroll down some more. I knew they was gonna do that. Get caught on that. All right, there we go. All right, but go ahead, read that one. The during the Renaissance period.
Ah, all right. The Gimel ring, known as a ring consisting of two interlocking parts, were extremely popular during the 16th and 17th century.
All right, so you see that in ancient Rome, what that iron ring looked like, and it looks just like this diamond ring today, right? So just like anything else, with time, things evolve. You know what I'm saying? But keep going.
After a couple got married, each one would take one part of the ring to wear. The ceremony included the groom taking the ring and placing it on the bride's finger, reuniting the match set. During the Renaissance period, highly ornate sterling silver posy rings made their introduction to the market. Many other cultures during this time period encouraged the exchange of wedding rings to symbolize the unity between two people. The Hindu Vakya introduced the toe ring, while people from West Bengal exchanged iron bangle.
All right, so we see that all of these different nations are being mentioned. I don't see anything about Israelites, ancient Christians. I don't see anything of that, right? Anything of that nature here. You know what I'm saying? That's just this article, but when we go into the scriptures, we're gonna find that wasn't there at all, right? So we're gonna listen to this video, a couple minutes of it, right? It's a 6-minute video, and he's gonna explain a lot of the same things that we just read through. He's gonna explain a lot, but I just want to get a certain point of something that he said. All right, so here we go.
History of wedding bands. So naturally, I'm an expert. The tradition of exchanging rings dates back 3,000 years ago. Egyptian pharaohs were the first use rings to represent eternity due to the circle not having a beginning or ending. The shape also reflects the sun and moon, which the Egyptians worshipped. The space in the middle of the ring represented a gateway.
So y'all hear that? It said these rings literally represented the shape of the sun and moon, which the Egyptians worship, right? So grab Exodus 20 real quick. Twenty and verse 3. Right to the
All right.
point.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Read that again.
Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
All right. So if you literally having this ring, that's literally putting another God before the Most High. Right now, don't get it confused. I'm not sitting there saying that you can't wear a ring. I'm not saying that you can't put a ring on that forefinger on your left hand. I'm not saying that, but don't do it in the name of love, right? Don't R. Kelly it. Ain't no doing it in the name of love. Ain't no stepping in the name of love when it come down to these wedding rings. It's not a wedding ring. It's just a piece of jewelry. You can have a ring on that finger. It can be on your pinky finger, your first finger, whatever. Whatever floats your boat when it comes down to that. But as we see, this is what the ancient Egyptians do. This is what the Hamites, they have, thousands of gods, right? That the sun and the moon just so happen to be one of them, right? Let's keep going on the video.
To the unknown. The Egyptian Ouroboros rings portrayed a serpent swallowing its tail, representing the eternal cycle of things. The Ouroboros is one of the oldest symbols in the world, and its name means tail devourer in Greek, but I bet you thought I was going to say Egyptian. When Alexander the Great conquered the Egyptians, the Greeks adopted the tradition of giving rings to their lovers to represent devotion. Many of these rings depicted Eros or Cupid, the god of love. When the Romans conquered Greece, they picked up on this tradition as well and began using
All right, read Exodus 20 and 3 again.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
So
Thou
thou
shalt
shalt
not
have
make.
no other God. Go ahead, Khan.
Salak. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth.
Read the next one too.
Verse 5. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me.
See that? So all of these things, when they talked about the Greeks adopting that custom, and they engraved what they said many believed to be Cupid, right? People celebrate what? Valentine's Day, right? And Cupid, so-called Cupid, is all over that thing. You know what I'm saying? And it's literally, we just read that we're not supposed to bow down nor serve them. We're not supposed to give them any honor at all whatsoever. But as we can see, even just using this little video, that this is what our people do. This is what we're accustomed to seeing and accustomed to doing because of what Hosea 4 and 6 says. We have no knowledge. We have no knowledge, and we just do whatever it is that we please. But the Most High don't work like that.
Right? Hey, Salaki.
Let
me right here in verse 4 and verse 5, right? Just that small sentence right there. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them nor serve them. Right? Just like we just brought out earlier. When the man get down on his knee, and the woman, what's the first thing she sees is that ring.
Mm-hmm.
When she sees that ring, it becomes a self-worship thing right there. She's not even really hearing the word. She's looking at them diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
She's looking like, oh my gosh, she's closing her mouth like this normally all the time because she see that ring. It ain't really because of what he said all the time. It's about that ring. We are certain sisters that's out there in the world that would say, if he gonna marry me, he got to get me a platinum diamond cut or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They fantasize about the ring because you know why? They worship the ring. And these wicked pastors, when they go out there and try to marry you and they say, give them the rings, don't you know they pray over those rings? Like this ring I be wed. You supposed to be saying your vows to the Most High of a ring, and you put the ring in on the finger. You are praying to a ring and honoring a ring. And the Bible says, "Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them nor serve them." These are idols. This doesn't make your love real because you got a ring. This is an idol, a piece of jewel. That's it. I land there.
And, you know, like you said, is they literally said yes to the ring. So this is why they feel like if you forget it, you know what I'm saying, you put the ring in your pocket, you might forget it at home or something, it might have fell off. You know, you might have been cleaning or you might have been working on the car or something and your ring is off. And you know, they'll when they come up to you, they'll ask you, "Hey, why your ring off?" You know what I'm saying? Like, what you doing? You know, because they're more so married to that ring than they are that what's supposed to be their husband. You know what I'm saying? And this is why when those things go missing, you know what I'm saying, something happens to it or whatever, you have certain women feel like, you know, they ain't married. You know what I'm saying? Literally, when I first ever told my wife that, you know, I wasn't gonna have my wasn't gonna wear my ring anymore and things of that nature, we went through a tough time, man. We went through a tough time. She told me she felt like she wasn't married no more. You know, she didn't know, she didn't know, and all praise to the Most High. It didn't take too long, for her to kind of come around and make peace with it. Once I literally started showing her, the history of it, what it meant, and things of that nature. Eventually, she came around, But I just say that to just say, hey, come out that idolatry. You know what I'm saying? I think this thing is idolatry at its finest, and it's one thing that some would consider small. Most women is going to consider it a big thing. You know what I'm saying? But it's we got to come out of all idolatry, man, all wickedness, as we see in these commandments. He says, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me." Right? That's literally the first out of the 10. Right? Well, let's keep going.
Iron and copper rings in marriage ceremonies. The iron rings sometimes had key motifs to symbolize that the wife now had control over the household goods. By the 2nd century, however, most rings were gold. Gold rings became more fancy over the centuries because they showed off how rich the giver was. There was never any real symbolism with the material the ring was made out of. These guys just wanted to show you how loaded they were. Those Egyptians were really good at choosing symbolic reasons to wear the rings. They decided that the ring finger contained a vena amoris, or vein of love, which led directly to the heart. The Romans were all down with that belief as well, which just goes to show you that neither of them knew any anatomy because it's not true. But we're still rocking that tradition, because if it ain't broke. After a few hundred years, medieval Europeans started putting rubies in their rings to symbolize passion, sapphires for the heavens, and diamonds for steadfast strength. Around the 1600s, couples started wearing bands during the engagement period. During the wedding ceremony, the groom placed his band on the bride's finger, uniting the wedding bands in a match set. Also in the 1600s, we started to see poetry inscribed inside and outside of the wedding band. Not everyone was on board with the idea of using jewelry to symbolize their marriage. The Puritans in colonial America thought jewelry was a waste of money, so Puritan husbands gave their wives thimbles instead of rings. After brides used their thimbles to sew clothes and textiles for their new home, they could then saw off the tops of their thimbles to create rings. Now, not to take away from the thimble rings, but the rings that became more popular over the centuries are the rings that contain diamonds. The first recorded diamond wedding ring dates back to the late 13th.
All right, so we can end that there. We ain't gotta listen to no more of that garbage. You know what I'm saying? So let me stop sharing this screen. All right, So yeah, it's literally that thing is idolatry, man. So let's go get some more scriptures, right? So let's go to Leviticus 18. All right, let's go to Leviticus 18, read verses 1 to 3.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 18, starting at verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, I am the Lord your God. After the doings of the land of Egypt,
After the
wherein
doings
ye
of who?
after the doing of the land of Egypt,
Right, where do these ancient rings come from?
after the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do? And after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, shall ye not do, neither shall ye walk in their ordinances.
Right, we're not supposed to do anything that these ancient Egyptians have done at all. Right, so this includes this wedding band, these wedding rings. Right, this includes the way that they even have their marriage ceremony set up. We're not supposed to do it. Right, this is, and again, we understand that a lot of people, they were married before they got into the truth. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you didn't know, we didn't know. But now that we know, we have to teach the next generation that's coming up after us, the ones that are not married just yet. We have to teach them what the truth is, right? And guess what we can actually do? We can actually save them some money instead of going out and spending 1,000 to however much, depends on, how much money you make, but spending and wasting money on a wedding ring, that's idolatry, right? You're literally paying to sin. You're literally paying to sin when you can sin for free, but you shouldn't do that either. So let's go to Deuteronomy 6, 24 and 25.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6, verse 24. And the Lord commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear the Lord our God, for our good always, that he might preserve us alive as it is at this day. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God, as he commanded us.
Right, that's what our righteousness is. It's not to be like the heathen. It's not to do the customs of the heathen. Right, is to literally do what it is the Lord commanded us. He never commanded a man to get down on one knee to ask a woman to do anything. He never did that. That's not there. Right? Let's keep going into the next chapter.
All right. This is Deuteronomy chapter 7, starting at verse 1. When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and have cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Verse 3, neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly.
See that? So we're going to not only are you not supposed to wear wedding rings, you're not supposed to do that with the other nations. So now you literally just let's just look at this, paint this picture. You have another nation of people, right? And specifically according to this scripture, we know it's talking about Hamitic nations at this moment. But you have these people and you're using their custom to literally bow down on one knee and get married. Right? That's a lot of sin in that little action just right there. You know what I'm saying? You're doing idolatry. You're breaking the covenant with the Most High by trying to marry outside of your people. right? That's not how the Lord designed this thing, right? Read the next one.
All right. Verse 5. Salakia. Verse 4. But they will turn away. Salakia. Verse 5. But this shall ye deal with them. Ye shall destroy their altars and break down their images and cut down their groves and burn their graven images with fire.
See that? So let's get more of their judgment. Jump up to verse 25 and 26.
Yep. Verse 25. The graven images of their gods shall ye burn with fire. Thou shalt not desire the silver or gold that is on them.
Right, read that. Start from the top again.
The graven images of their gods shall ye burn with fire. Thou shalt not desire the silver or gold that is on them.
Right, we're not supposed to want that thing. Right? We're not supposed to want that. Now, we understand we're talking about the silver and gold that is on them, but think about it. If this custom comes from them, surely they had wedding rings on. And if the Lord is telling us not desire the jewelry that's on them, we also shouldn't desire the way that they go about doing things. Right? We shouldn't want to do that. We should want to, we should want to follow the Lord. Right? So if that means, brother, sister, take your wedding ring off, hey, take that thing off. You know what I'm saying? If you can get over the feeling that you get when you have it on, you should probably take it off. You know what I'm saying? That's the best bet, right? But if you know that, okay, hey, this thing, because again, it's going to go by man basis. If you're not tied to that thing and it's not representation of your love for your wife and vice versa, your love for your husband, then okay, because again, it is just at the end of the day, it's just a piece of jewelry. But if your love is tied to that thing, you need to pray to the Most High, fast, and different things like that, and try to pray you get that spirit up off of you, because this ain't it. All right, keep going.
Verse 26. Neither shalt thou bring, Salaki, let me finish it off. Nor take it unto thee, lest thou be snared therein, for it is an abomination to the Lord thy God. Verse 26. Neither shalt thou bring an abomination into thine house.
See that?
That's
not. Hey, the Lord said, don't bring it into your house. You know what I'm saying? Again, that's if you with intended purposes. If this is what you have, hey, the Lord said, don't bring it into your house. Right. So I would retract that statement and say, hey, if it's worth some money, sell that thing. You know what I'm saying? Hey, get rid of it. The Lord said, don't bring it into your house. I didn't say it. He said it. Right. Unless thou be a cursed thing like it. And you wonder why you arguing with your wife every day. Because you got this wedding ring on. You know what I'm saying? It still symbolizes your love. Right? That, hey, keep going. Finish it up.
All right, verse 26 again. Neither shalt thou bring an abomination into thine house, lest thou be a cursed thing like it, but thou shalt utterly detest it.
All right, what are we doing right now?
But thou shalt utterly detest it.
Utterly detest that thing. Right? We have to make a whole lesson about it. We have to utterly detest that thing, right? Go ahead.
And thou shalt utterly abhor it.
We shall utterly hate it, right? Go ahead.
For it is a cursed thing.
It's a cursed thing, man. It's a cursed thing. If your loyalty and your love is bound up inside of a ring, hey, you shouldn't even be marrying that person. And that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? You had something you want to add to that?
Nah, you said it well, man. You said it well, brother.
God. So yeah, man, it's we literally I had this dictionary real quick. Just go into it. It's a Nelson's Foundational Bible Dictionary, right? Gonna get two definitions, right? We're gonna get marriage. We're gonna get marriage out of here, and we're also gonna get ring. All right, so this is the definition of marriage. It says a divine institution, the condition of propagation of the race. Marriage is designed to be monogamous, the union of one man and one woman for life. It is a permanent relation to be dissolved only by death, right? Though there seems to be, or not seems to be, but it is room, right, for exceptions in the case of adultery, right? So lets you know that, hey, it's the union between a man and a woman, right? It's not man and man, it's not woman and woman, according to the Most High. Right, so we're gonna get the definition of ring out this same thing, right? Where we at? Right, so it says ring. It says an article of jewelry, right? It's not an article of love, it's an article of jewelry. It says a circlet of precious metal worn on the finger, ornamented with jewels or with a signet. A king's signet ring was a symbol of authority, right? So like Michael, he mentioned it earlier. You know what I'm saying? You putting that ring on a woman, you're basically saying, now this is your ruler. Right? Kings wore that thing. Right? Kings literally wore that thing, and it's literally a symbol of authority. So you putting that on your woman, now you're woman worshiping. Right? You're putting your woman on a pedestal. You know what I'm saying? So where we gonna go next? Let's go to the book of Genesis. Let's get into what our forefathers were doing. Genesis 24. We're not gonna read this whole chapter. We kind of gonna be jumping through it, and I'll just kind of, try to fill in as best as I can, this not little, but this story, right? So we're gonna start at the top. You can read verses 1 to 4.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 24, and verse 1. And Abraham was old and well stricken in age, and the Lord had blessed Abraham in all things. And Abraham said unto his eldest servant of his house, that ruled over all that he had, put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh, and I will make thee swear by the Lord, the God of heaven and the God of the earth, and thou shalt not take a wife unto my son of the daughters of the Canaanites, among whom I dwell.
So Abraham understood the law. He says, hey, no race mixing, right? Go ahead.
Verse 4. But thou shalt go unto my country and to my kindred, and take a wife unto my son Isaac.
All right, so he understood that he had to stay within the 12 tribes, right? Although it wasn't 12, we understand that it wasn't 12 tribes. This is for the people that kind of get technical. It wasn't 12 tribes at this time, not just yet. You know what I'm saying? But he had to stay within his people, right? So let's go to verse 22.
Verse 22. And it came to pass, as the camels had done drinking, that the man took a golden earring of half a shekel weight, and 2 bracelets for her hands of 10 shekels weight of gold, and said, whose daughter art thou? Tell me, I pray thee, is there room in thy father's house for us to lodge? And she said unto him, I am the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Milcah, which she bare unto Nahor.
All right, so just to fill it in real quick, after he was talking with Abraham and things like that, Abraham gave him the backdrop of what would happen, that she would be by the well, and she would give them water and things like that to drink. And to this woman, you give these things too, right? The jewelry, the 10 shekels of weight, right? The earring of a half a shekel, the bracelets, right? You give that to her, right? Because that is the one that's going to be my son's wife, right? Because Abraham knew that this young woman came from his stock, right? Which was his brother's daughter. He understood that, right? He already knew what her job was and all of that. So he knew what she would be doing. So this is why he sent his servant to do so, right? He didn't send Isaac by himself to go find his wife, right? He didn't do that. But in today's time, this is what the things that we do. We ignore the father now. we skip past him like it don't even matter. You know what I'm saying? We wicked. We literally are wicked. Why? Because Jeremiah 17:4. We literally forgotten our heritage. Right? But let's keep going.
All right. Verse 25. She said, moreover unto him, we have both straw and provender enough, and room to lodge in. And the man bowed down his head and worshiped the Lord. And he said, blessed be the Lord of Yahweh, of my master Abraham, who have not left destitute my master, of his mercy and his truth. I being in the way, the Lord led me to the house of my master's brethren. And the damsel ran and told them of her mother's house these things. And Rebekah had a brother, and his name was Laban. And Laban ran out unto the man unto the well. And it came to pass, when he saw the earring and bracelets upon his sister's hands, and when he heard the words of Rebekah his sister, saying, thus spake the man unto me, that he came unto the man, and behold, he stood by the camels at the well. And he said,
like we ain't gonna we're gonna jump. We're gonna go straight to 47, right? Because this is just literally her telling him what happened, and then Abraham is going to talk to her brother, right, as well, and literally, give exactly what happened as well, right? So we're gonna jump up to verse 47.
right. Verse 47. And I asked her and said, whose daughter art thou? And she said, the daughter of Bethuel, Nahor's son, whom Milcah bare unto him. And I put the earring upon her face and the bracelets upon her hands.
See that? It's not. I don't see anything about a ring, right? I don't see it. Keep going.
All right. Verse 48. And I bowed down my head and worshiped the Lord, and blessed the Lord Yahweh of my master Abraham, which had led me in the right way to take my master's brother's daughter unto his son. And now if he will deal kindly and truly with my master, tell me. And if not, tell me, that I may turn to the right hand or to the left. Then
See,
Laban.
Salaki. So you see that? He's saying, hey, if you would deal kindly with me, hey, let me know. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to give me your daughter to give wife unto Isaac, you know what I'm saying? Hey, let me know. You know what I'm saying? I can't make her do anything. I can't make y'all, make them be married. I can't. That's not my call. But again, what do we do in today's time? We don't even ask the father. They say ask the father for his daughter's hand in marriage. We don't do that. We go straight to the daughter. We give her that ring, signify that she now has authority over you, right? And then some people wait some months to tell their parents. But the scriptures say you're supposed to go to the parents of that young lady. So who's right and who's wrong? Let's keep going.
Hey, and come. People don't know about dowry.
Come.
They don't have no idea what dowry is. This is like you said in Jeremiah 17:4, we'll lose our heritage. We have no idea. When we don't open up this book to get a foundation of understanding, we don't know what to do. This is why you see a lot of the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American marriages community falling apart, because we don't take the proper order steps. We putting on rings on the finger, we bowing down. We're arguing over rings when we don't have them. You're afraid. The man be afraid when he loses ring. He's mad that he's afraid that his wife gonna break his neck.
God.
he be losing his mind. You know what I'm saying? Loses his mind doing that. And then after that, they male and female not just the female, the male and female, they put their trust and faith on the ring. If you don't have your ring on, I think you're cheating on me. If you know what I'm saying? They put their trust and faith in it. And the Most High, and we don't put our trust and faith in idols. These were items to wear to make us look good. We wore them as a sport for dressing. You know, we got gold. We got brothers put gold in their teeth. You know, we ain't putting. We don't have to put it on our ring for a signal of love. This was a fashion. You know what I'm saying? What did Aaron have it on the bottom of his garment? He had golden bells. Of course, like a fringes, man. We wore it for fashion. Wasn't wearing for a significant of love. And they got this man Esau, man. Not just Esau, our people, man. They need to open up this book and quit playing games like the time is like we got a long time for this, because this is why we're going to continue fighting over rings, because we have no understanding what rings are. We'll go all the way to these expensive K jeweler stores and finding the best ring to impress our woman. And a lot of them don't have the money to even do it and break their pockets. Then you see why the women acting like bridezillas. Going crazy. Now once you put your knee down and you put that engagement ring on, now she changed on you. She flipping on you. Now she's telling you, I want this for the wedding. It becomes now her wedding. It ain't got nothing to do with you anymore.
Right.
And you sitting there like a sucker, like, I gotta get this for her, I gotta do this for her, we gotta do that. I don't say that in the scriptures. We see how things operated in the scriptures. I ain't gonna say no more. I land there.
Hey, you 100% right. You know what I'm saying? And that's you literally giving that authority. That's why she acts like that. That ring comes with that spirit. You know what I'm saying? As we seen in the definition, it said that it's a king's signet and it represents authority. So when you give that to a woman, this is why she runs the wedding. You know what I'm saying? When we're going to go into the book of Tobit shortly after this, and we're going to literally see Tobit's wife's father, Tobit's father-in-law, literally paying for it. You know what I'm saying? The father is supposed to pay for the wedding. He sends his daughter off with with possessions and things like that. We don't get that now. You know what I'm saying? We don't get it now. So
and when we do have a wedding ceremony like that, and we do the monetary gifts, man, you look in that box, nobody put nothing in there. They come in there for the food and the wine, bro. Ain't nobody coming there. They only happy to see y'all together, but once it's time to turn up, man, they glad that ceremony over. We want to go to the reception. It's time to party.
Hey, some people don't even come to the ceremony, man. They come straight to the reception, man.
And they want to make sure you got an open bar and everything. You got an open bar. Like, nah, I know in time past, you go to weddings. I hear people say, "Hey, you going to their wedding?" No, I ain't going because they ain't got the open bar. Like, what? Like, because you ain't. I thought y'all really cared for this and happy for them. Nah, man, they ready to party, man.
Right. Hey, that's Israel for you, man. That's all we do. That's all we do, man.
God, man.
God, where we leave off at? Verse.
They be on verse 50.
All
right, So verse 50. Then Laban and Bethuel answered and said, the thing proceedeth from the Lord. We cannot speak unto thee bad or good. Behold, Rebekah is before thee. Take her and go, and let her be thy master's son's wife, as the Lord has spoken.
All right, so they ain't about to box with the Most High on that. They like, hey, the Lord said that this thing is supposed to happen. Hey, this thing is happening. All right, go ahead.
Verse 52. And it came to pass that when Abraham's servant heard their words, he worshiped the Lord, bowing himself to the earth. And the servant brought forth jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment, and gave them to Rebekah.
Right, we don't see a wedding ring there. He didn't get on one knee and give Rebekah a wedding ring. It didn't happen. Right, let's get that up out of there. Go ahead.
He gave also to her brother and to her mother precious things.
See that? He even gave, they get gifts. They get gifts. Now, what we do, we get that ring to that woman. We don't give a damn about her family. We don't give them nothing. But hey, I'm marrying your daughter. I don't need your permission. You know what I'm saying? I don't need her father's permission. You know, if her father is not in the home, he may, may have passed away or something. Of course, the brother steps in, or the next man up that's inside of her life actually steps in, right? So they get gifts. We don't do that now. Go ahead, read the next one.
And we don't even have weddings no more.
Okay, we don't. People just go straight to the courthouse, and and again, it partially because we in captivity. You know what I'm saying? But we don't know what a real, because I mean, me personally, I've seen Israelite weddings, but I haven't, actually been to one. You know what I'm saying? But again, it's it just goes to show you, man, that Jeremiah 17:4, our heritage is gone. You know what I'm saying? Our heritage is gone, and this is why we're fighting so hard to get it back. And this is why we have to put these lessons out here like this to gain our heritage back, to stop doing the ways of the heathen. Because when we doing all of these things, we wonder why, like you said, the marriages are failing, because it's based on a lie. Right? It's based on a lie.
Hey, real quick before we go into it, give me Hebrews 13:4. Let's go to Hebrews 13:4. Because agreeing everything you're saying, and we got to understand that, hey, the Most High made it for a spiritual connection. Even from the beginning, it was always a marriage with Christ and Yahweh. I mean, Yahweh and Yahushua. It was a spiritual marriage. And then when we read in Genesis 26, when he made men of our image, that was another spiritual marriage. When he made Adam, that was a spiritual marriage, right? A connection, right? Read that right there, Hebrews 13:4.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 4. Marriage is honorable in all.
No, marriage is defiled.
Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled. But whoremongers and adulterers God will judge.
Our people don't even want to think about getting married. We want to be whoremongers because we don't look at marriage as being honorable. When you say now today, even back in my time, hey man, I think I want to settle down. You a lame. You a simp. You know what I'm saying? Look at all these women out here you can have, and you want to settle down. And that's just because of the music we listen to and the movies we watch. Our movies and our entertainment of music is so corrupted that we believe in the lie. So if we don't believe in the truth of the word of God, then guess what we're going to believe in? The next is the lie. We have to believe in the lie to make it feel like our life is projected to what the world wants us to be. We have to separate ourselves, like God says, come amongst from her. We have to change our mindsets. It's all about changing your mind and spirit. Once you do that, the understanding makes sense. When you see what's everything that's going on the outside, everything is like, wow, I can't even believe I was in that defiled mindset. So the Bible says marriage is honorable, and the bed is undefiled. So what you and your wife do, you keep that to yourself. That's between you and your wife. That your bedroom is a secret. That is your sacred place, is your home. And the husband and wife bedroom is the sacred place. It's not for what they do now. They take videos and they show their homeboys and show, look what I did to old girl. Let me show you this, what I did to her. Or she's showing her homegirls this. And these monks playing the adultery, they playing the fornicating game. And they're happy for that thing because marriage to them is undefiled. But the bedroom is not even a secret anymore. It's open now, right? That's off. And I'll land there.
Come. You know what I'm saying? So hey, I'll tell y'all the inspiration too behind this lesson before we keep going, right? So just talking to a brother, so I had already been thinking about doing it, but what sealed it was talking to a brother, not gonna mention his name, but talking to a brother, and we was talking about how his wife, her wedding ring had broke, right? They went and got it fixed, and when they got it back, he his broke. You know what I'm saying? So put his in the jewelry shop to get fixed as well. And it was already done. You know what I'm saying? And he said like he didn't know if he wanted to get it back or anything like that. But when they got the call back that it was done, his wife's ring broke again. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was funny. It kind of reminded me. Let's go to 1 Samuel real quick. We ain't gonna go off too far, but it reminded me of this story, all right, with the Ark of the Covenant. So let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 5 and start at verse 1.
This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 5, and verse 1. And the Philistines took the ark of Yahweh and brought it from Ebenezer unto Ashdod. When the Philistines took the ark of God, they brought it into the house of Dagon and set it by Dagon.
All right, so Dagon is literally the Philistines' god. It's what they worship. It's who they sacrifice to, right? A statue, right? Keep going.
And when they of Ashdod arose early on the morrow, behold, Dagon was fallen upon his face to the earth before the ark of the Lord. And they took Dagon and set him in his place again.
All right, so the Most High, like, hey man, you can't sit next to me. You can't sit next to my ark. All right, go ahead.
And when they arose early in the morning, behold, Dagon was fallen upon his face to the ground before the ark of the Lord. And the head of Dagon and both the palms of his hands were cut off upon the threshold. Only the stump of Dagon was left to him.
See, that's another thing. He cut the hands off, the head. You know what I'm saying? So keep going.
Therefore, neither the priests of Dagon nor any that came into Dagon's house tread on the threshold of Dagon and Ashdod unto this day.
All right, so hey, they literally knew when they had the Ark of the Covenant in there, none of that thing, it wasn't even supposed to be there. It wasn't theirs. They're not supposed to touch it. You know what I'm saying? It made me think of that story because that was literally a symbol of, hey, them rings, like we read in Deuteronomy 7:25, shouldn't even be in your house. You know what I'm saying? They shouldn't even be there. So it lets you know that, hey, these things is breaking for a reason. It lets you know that, hey, this thing don't have anything to do with your marriage. What has something to do with your marriage is these laws, statutes, and commandments.
That's right.
You have to follow them. As the man, you have to lead. As the woman, you have to be a helpmeet. Right? Your love shouldn't be tied up into that. You shouldn't feel more married or less married, according to your ring. Right. So I just wanted to bring that out real quick, man. And we're gonna stay on the same topic, but kind of switch a little bit into it's gonna go into the marriage license. Right. So let's go to the book of Tobit, chapter 7. Actually, give me the book of Tobit, chapter 10 first. I want chapter 10 first, just to show that the father pays for the wedding, right? And gives them things when they depart. Chapter 10. And we can start from the top.
This is the book of Tobit, chapter 10, and verse 1. Now Tobit, his father, counted every day, and when the days of the journey were expired, and they came not, then Tobit said, are they detained, or as Gabriel did, and there is no man to give him the money. Therefore he was very sorry. Then his wife said unto him, my son is dead, seeing he stayeth long. And she began to bewail him and said, now I care for nothing, my son, since I have let thee go, the light of my eyes.
All right, so it's just Tobit's parents literally just concerned about him, right? That's all this really was in this moment. His parents was concerned about him. he had been gone for a while, because he was, going to the house of Raguel. He was going to his house, right, to literally get his wife, basically. You know what I'm saying? Meet his wife, marry his wife, and then he's gonna come back. So he was just gone for a while. His parents was worried about him, and they just thought since he was gone for that long that he was dead because the previous what was it, 7 men? The previous 7 men that tried to marry her, hey, they all died. You know what I'm saying? They all died. When it came time to consummate the marriage. You know what I'm saying? So they just worried about him, right? So, um, keep going. Yeah, keep going. You can just read down to verse 10 and it's cool.
Okay, Con. To whom Tobit said, Hold thy peace, take no care, for he is safe. But she said, Hold thy peace, and deceive me not. My son is dead. And she went out every day into the way which they went, and did eat no meat on the daytime, and ceased not whole nights to bewail her son. Tobias until the 14 days of the wedding were expired, which Raguel had sworn that he should spend there. Then
Right. So
Tobias said,
it just goes to show you they celebrated that wedding feast 14 days. Right. Well, Israel do now. Hey, man, we got one day and then it's right back to captivity. You know what I'm saying? Or you might have it one day and then you had a honeymoon. Right. But go ahead.
All right. Then Tobias said to Raguel, Let me go, for my father and my mother look no more to see me. But his father-in-law said unto him, Tarry with me, and I will send to thy father, and they shall declare unto him how things go with thee. But Tobias said, Nor, but let me go to my father. Then Raguel arose and gave him Sarah his wife, and half his goods, servants, and cattle, and money.
All right. So it just goes to show the father had a big position in when he's giving his daughter out for marriage. Right. There was a lot of things that was required to happen that we don't go by today. Right. So let's go. We're gonna go back to chapter 7 and verse 13 and 14.
All right. This is the book of Tobit, chapter 7, starting at verse 13. Then he called his daughter Sarah, and she came to her father, and he took her by the hand, and gave her to be wife to Tobias, saying, Behold, take her after the law of Moses, and lead her away to the father. And he blessed them, and called Edna his wife, and took paper, and did write an instrument of covenants, and sealed it.
Right. So I've definitely, when I first read this, I know I've been, told like, hey, this is the marriage license today and all of this stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But when you really do your research, do some research on a marriage license, you know what I'm saying? We're going to go into it's an actual book, right? I don't have the book here. I got the book name, and I'm going to put it on the screen, and I'll try to enlarge the screen. Um, right. So, yeah. Or is it up here? No, it's up here. Okay, so you got Michael, turn your camera off real quick.
Okay, turn it off.
Yeah, the camera kind. Right, so this book, what we're gonna read is coming out this book. One of the brothers, kind of put this book into the chat, and it just has some information in there about about the marriage license and how it's a fraud, how it's fraudulent, and things of that nature, and I'm going to use it to show y'all that this instrument of covenants is not the same as a marriage license. It's not the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Because our people, again, it says according to the law of Moses, right? So this is the name of the book, right? Marriage License Fraud by Joshua Paul. Let me see if I can make the screen bigger. Okay. So that's a little bigger. Right. So that's the name of the book. Right. If you got $20 to blow, if you want to buy it, that's up to y'all. So I'm gonna exit full screen again, and I'm gonna go back to the images. Back to the images. I'm gonna make the screen big again. All right, can you see that, Mike Allen?
Come.
All right, so you can go ahead.
All right.
This is page 38 inside that book.
All right. Chapter 4, permission from the state. It says, why are those who call themselves the bride of Christ and followers of Yahushua going to the state for permission to marry? The reality is, most, if not all of us, do not really understand what we are doing when we sign the marriage license. Generally, we are simply excited to start a new chapter in life and get married. I certainly did not have any idea the ramifications of the marriage license until I began asking questions and investigating the matter. Rarely, if does anyone ever teach or communicate to us what the marriage license actually represents. I guess that is why they say read the fine print and know what you are signing before you sign it. There is not one biblical example of anyone ever needing a license or permission.
See, it's not one. It's not one biblical example. Even in this book of Tobit, that's not an example of a marriage license. They didn't need that. When Adam and Eve, when he created Eve, they didn't need a marriage license. When, as we was reading with Abraham, you know what I'm saying, when he sent his servant to find Isaac's wife, he didn't need a marriage license. He didn't need permission. He needed permission from, her house. You know what I'm saying? Her father, he needed that permission, but he didn't need a marriage license. Right? Keep going.
All right. From any governing body outside the family until recent history, the only example of permission to marry was simply from the children's parents, and most commonly with regard to parents of the bride.
See that? Regards with parents of the bride. So let's go to the next portion that we had. Exit the screen. Let me scroll back. All right, so as y'all seen, we didn't need permission. When you read the Bible, you'll see that we didn't need permission from the state per se, just from the bride's parents, right? Or father. But you can go ahead and read that.
The right for a man and woman to marry is and will always be a right given to us by our Father in heaven, creator of heaven and earth. It seems crazy to hear a pastor recite, by the power vested in me by the state of take your picks.
Right. So it's just saying, so he literally saying, hey, when you think about it, it is crazy to hear that. By the power vested in me. What power do these pastors have, especially these Edomite pastors? What power do they have? They didn't get that permission from the Most High. It's not a commandment inside this Bible that literally says, hey, you have power to marry, to give permission for them to marry. They don't have that power. But keep going.
I now pronounce you man and wife. What kind of power does the state even have? What are we talking about here? What a bizarre statement to make. If you ask me, it would be more accurately stated, by the power vested in me by the living God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I now pronounce you man and wife.
See that? See, and it's not to say that we didn't have a priest or anything to marry us. You know what I'm saying? But what happened first? We literally We literally had to go get that permission from that father, right? We had to have sex to consummate that marriage. You know what I'm saying? We did all of these things. Right? It's not to say that we didn't have ceremonies, because again, priests had performed many duties of the Most High. So, hey, like he said, it will be a better statement to say by the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because we know that that's talking about Yahweh. When they say that by the power invested in them, they talking about Caesar Borgia. Right? But keep going.
Hey, and it's talking about the ruler of the state you live in, because they rule over the state.
Right.
Assuming, of course, the reader of the couple to be married desired to acknowledge the living God in the first place. Marriage has been hijacked by the government. Something that was once holy has now become reduced to nothing more than a secular contract with the state. The people of Yahweh need to return to the idea of holy matrimony and the sanctity of marriage, apart from the governmental system via the marriage license.
Right. So he's saying, hey, don't even get up out of that. Don't even get no marriage license from the state. Now that's not to say that you shouldn't do it, because it serves its purpose. You know what I'm saying? Something happened to your spouse, you can prove, you can just, without a shadow of a doubt, nobody can argue you have that marriage license to say, hey, this is my wife. So whatever kind of insurance money that you may have and things like that, you don't have to really fight to get that. You know what I'm saying? Because you literally have that. So, it's it's kind of like a hit and miss. You know what I'm saying? We just doing this to show people that, hey, you can draw up your own contract. You can draw up your own contract. You can have your witnesses by it. You can get that thing notified, right? And, you can do it that way. You know what I'm saying? But, as far as things that come from the state, life insurance policies and things like that, those things they're good to have in those moments. But it's just letting you know that you don't actually need it, right? That's the purpose of us reading this. But go ahead.
All right. So it says, matrimony is specifically defined as a man and woman joining together. Holy is something that is set apart. We need to become set apart from the world governing body for that of the heavenly governing body. Hey, that's it you got right there, because I only could see the
yeah, that was it. That was it on that page anyway. Okay. Yeah, so I'm about to go back and go to the next one. All right, there's a couple more on here, right?
All right. It says, check this out. Honor the Lord with your possessions and with the first fruits of all your increase. Did you know that technically speaking, the state owns your property and the fruit of your marriage, which are your children? With a marriage license and birth certificate, the children become wards of the state.
See that? A lot of people don't know that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know that. Now you're literally giving, and this is why if you ever go down and file for a divorce, one of the first questions they ask is, are there any children involved? Why? Because they're going to do some research, and they're going to, if it's one of those toxic marriages and you know what I'm saying, toxic divorces, they'll come in and they'll take the children from you. You know what I'm saying? They'll come in, they take the children. This is why they get to decide who the children goes with, whether it be one of the other parents or whether it be they just taking them from you. Right? So by literally signing that, that's what you're signing. You're signing your children over. They own your marriage when it ain't supposed to be that. All right, but go ahead.
Right. With a marriage license and birth certificate, the children become wards of the state. Defining ward and guardian from the Black's Law Dictionary, 10th ed. 2014. Ward 15, a person, USU, a minor who is under a guardian's charge or protection. The guardian, one who has the legal authority and duty to care for another's person or property. S, because of the other's infancy, incapacity, or disability, a guardian may be appointed either for all purposes or for specific purposes that is right, and the parents are simply guardians or care.
Right. So when you literally sign that, you're basically they're wards of the state and they're guardians over your marriage. So they have the legal authority to do what they want, regardless to what it is you telling them, regardless to what kids the kids that you want them to come live with you. They get to make that decision. That decision is no longer yours. It's almost like those kids are no longer yours. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be aware of these things, and when we literally getting married and we going down there to sign that marriage certificate, for a lot of us, you know what I'm saying? Hey, it's already too late for a lot of us because a lot of us have done that. But for the ones that haven't done it, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to do it. You can write up your own marriage certificate. Your marriage contract, and you can get that thing notarized, have your witnesses there with you, and that's kind of the best way to go about it in today's time. All right, so this is the last one here.
All right. Takers of the children. The state is the undisclosed true parent. If the state does not like the way you are raising your children, Child Protective Service can legally kidnap your children because of your marriage license and their birth certificate. In signing the marriage license, you instantly give the state, which acts through CPS, power and authority over your children. Some people say they can take your kids away anyway without the marriage license if they want.
All right, which is true, we know that's Deuteronomy 28 and 32.
Yes, they can come and attempt to take your children away. But from a legal standpoint, at least without signing the marriage license, you are not giving them a leg to stand on. You will have more of a legal foundation to stand on without a marriage license than you do with one.
Right. So, and the key word in there is legal. You know what I'm saying? You have more of a legal foundation. And this is why I said what I said as far as creating your own contract. You know what I'm saying? Create your own contract. You have to have witnesses there. You know what I'm saying? Get it notarized. And now that thing would be considered a legal document. And you can use that, instead of an actual marriage license. You know what I'm saying? So now they can't get involved as far as this aspect, as far as you actually signing the document of the state. You know what I'm saying? Now, if they want to take your children and do whatever, they have to find other reasons and other causes, but they can't use your signed signature on that marriage license that comes from the state.
Believe it or not, there is legal and lawful precedents.
Yeah.
Precedents, thank you, for several states that prove this reality. The marriage license from a legal standpoint is in fact legal ward of your children. Maybe everything in you is refuting this notion. Technically speaking, this is in fact what takes place when couples sign up for the marriage license contract. Signing rights away to the state to be the master of our marriages, owner of our children, and yoked to an unholy institution propagating itself as Yahweh, as God and parent. This goes back to the idea of parents. I can't really see that. Patri.
Yeah.
There is plenty of case law to support this evidence to be true and factual.
All right, and you can do some more research on that. You know what I'm saying? If you kind of challenge that what it is, but when you get all the way deeper into it, this is what they do. You know what I'm saying? And remember, Psalms 83 said they use crafty counsel. So, hey, man, this stuff goes a lot deeper than, even what we know, even probably than what we can find out. It goes deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? That wickedness is crazy. You know what I'm saying? That they go to any length. All right, so we're gonna close this out with Wisdom of Solomon.
Hey, can I bring a few scriptures out?
Go ahead.
Can you do that? Because I want to go back to the wedding ring, and going back to the wedding ring, there's certain things that we did take rings for, right? So let's go to Exodus 35 real quick. It's certain things that we took. Like, remember, we read earlier that, when Deuteronomy 25, that we're not supposed to take anything, we're not supposed to do this. But there were certain things of occasions when Yahweh told us to take, when we got out of Exodus, hey, take their clothes, take the jewelry, take everything, right? We took everything in us in the wilderness. So, like the brother was saying, he's not saying that we can't have these things. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't the customs of marriage, right? It was never a custom of marriage. But these were certain things that we did when we took. Give me Exodus 35. Let's start at verse 20.
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 35, verse 20. And all the congregation of the children of Israel departed from the presence of Moses. And they came, every one whose heart stirred him up, and every one whom his spirit made willing. And they brought the Lord's offering to the work of the tabernacle of the congregation.
Salaki, go ahead, finish it, my bad.
The Lord's offering to the work of the tabernacle of the congregation, and for all his service, and for the holy garments.
So when we took a lot of the stuff that was out there in Egypt, right, we came into the wilderness. So this was certain things that God allowed the Israelites to bring in because he wanted them to start building up the tabernacles. That was the reason why he was telling them to go grab from the nations, grab their raiment, grab their jewelry, grab everything. You know what I'm saying? And the scripture said we borrowed it. No, we didn't borrow nothing. You know what I'm saying? We took rightfully what was ours from the beginning. Because according to 2 Ezra chapter 6, it says that the world was made for our sake. Okay. Right? So we not borrowing nothing. You really borrowing our stuff and you're defiling it. So we're taking back what's ours, right? So what we did, we brought it for a free will offering because we were doing enough to build up our temple and the remnant. Go ahead.
Verse 21. And they came, everyone whose heart
22.
Oh, Salaki, verse 22. And they came, both men and women, as many as were willing-hearted, and brought bracelets and earrings and rings and tablets, all jewels of gold, and every man that offered an offering of gold unto the Lord.
Right. That's what we brought. We brought rings in. We brought these things in, right? Because, according to the scripture, I think the brother name was Belazil or Belalil. I can't, he was really crafty with his work, right? Saying God put a spirit upon him to give him wisdom and understanding. He used a brother Bezalel and no, just Bezalel. That's all I can remember. But he was real cunning with the work, right? And God gave him wisdom and understanding to go ahead and learn how to build the stuff on the temple. So he used those wedding rings, so-called wedding rings. He used it to put it into the temple. We didn't put it on our fingers, right? We put that for a sacred thing, right? Because that's how God made it. We made jewelry out of things, not putting them on our fingers to be submitted to a woman. Never the case, right? Give me a couple more. Give me Numbers 31 and 50. We're going to use it, see what else we used it for.
It's the book of Numbers, chapter 31, verse 50. We have therefore brought an oblation for the Lord, what every man hath gotten of jewels of gold, chains, bracelets, rings, earrings, and tablets, to make an atonement for our souls before the Lord.
Right. So what happened in that time, this is when we had destroyed the Midianites, right? We came in that land. God told us what we do. We took everything. So with the gold, we put it into an offering, right? A free will offering, right? We put that in there for the atonement for our sins, atonement for Israel, anything, right? We did that. Continue.
And Moses and Eleazar, the priest, took the gold of them, even all wrought jewels, and all the gold of the offering that they offered up to the Lord of the captains of thousands and of the captains of hundreds was 16,750 shekels.
Hey, this is why Israel was rich. We taking back what's ours. We putting that in and we put it into the temple. Why? Because the priests, right? The God's portion. All the sacrificing they doing on the daily, man, we give them gifts. Don't think that the Levites were looking all bummy. No, these brothers was dressed to impress. It wasn't all looking all raggedy, looking like butcher clothes on, like you see at the butcher stations out here we see in the world. No, they had different clothes. You had your sacrifice clothes, and then you had to change out of that and put on your beautiful royal garment. Right? Go ahead.
It says, for the men of war had taken spoil, every man for himself. And Moses and Eleazar, the priest, took the gold of the captains of thousands and of hundreds and brought it into the tabernacle of the congregation for a memorial for the children of Israel before the Lord.
So these were memorials because we destroyed the Midianites. I got a couple more, and that's it. Give me Genesis 41 and 37.
All right, it's the book of Genesis, chapter 41, verse 37. And the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh and in the eyes of all his servants.
So in this chapter, this is when Joseph interpreted a dream for Pharaoh to understand what the dream meant, right? Because because Joseph had a gift from the Most High to interpret the dreams, right? And this what happened. Go ahead.
And Pharaoh said unto his servants, can we find such a one as this is, a man in whom the Spirit of God is?
Now listen to that. Now Pharaoh want to really believe the real God, right? He already asked his people. His people couldn't give him the understanding of the dream, right? This was a spiritual dream, and if you were only connected to the Father, that's the only way who can break that down, because the Spirit of the Most High was going to go on Joseph to give him what his dream meant. You couldn't use heathens and all these other idolatry people to interpret that dream. No, this was a spiritual way for understanding and to free Joseph out of prison, right? This was all God's plan from the beginning. Go ahead.
And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, for as much as God hath shewed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. Thou shalt be over my house, and according unto thy word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, see, I have set thee over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh took off his ring.
He did what?
He took off his ring from his hand and put it upon Joseph's hand, and arrayed him in vestures of fine linen, and put a gold chain about his neck.
So again, it's nothing wrong with wearing a ring if it's done properly. That means in rulership. The man was in order of rulership, not for marriageship, right? It has nothing to do with marriage. This man had authority. That's what the signet means, right? It shows power. He gave Joseph power to rule in Egypt, second in command, right? So when they see that ring, they look like, oh, that brother in power. When you see a woman's ring, this is why some of the terms say, oh, we see who wear the pants in the house, right? Because that big old rock they show, they like, dang, she got a big rock, so he spent the grip on that. So we know that she run a thing. Nah, that ring was representation of power and rulership, right? And women, don't think you can't wear a ring, but don't signify it as a wedding ring. Nothing wrong with that. We will always dress to impress, beautiful things, jewelry, but it's not as significant of a wedding ring, right? One more. Give me Esther chapter 8.
So Exodus 8?
No, Esther.
Esther.
The book of Esther.
Con.
Let me get there too, man. My pages be sticking on when it gets close to that Esther. Where I want to go with that one. Go to verse 1.
Con. It's the book of Esther, chapter 8, starting at verse 1. On that day did the king Ahasuerus give the house of Haman, the Jews' enemy, unto Esther the queen. And Mordecai came before the king, for Esther had told what he was unto her. And the king took off his ring, which he had taken from Haman, and gave it to Mordecai. And Esther set Mordecai over the house of Haman.
Again, another thing, right? Because Haman was planning on killing all the Israelites. And the Most High was not going to let that happen. So that's why Mordecai talked to Esther to go into the king and tell him what Haman is planning on doing. So what they did, they built up gallows. And with the gallows that they built was supposed to be for Mordecai and them, but God reversed that curse and flipped it on Haman and his family, right? So when he seen that, what the next thing of the order he got a ring on his finger. And what was it for? So he can be over the house of Haman. So he can be over the house of Israel. So he can go ahead and get Israel back. And this is around the time of Purim, right? This is around the time, right? This is one of the moments where Mordecai became ruler. So the ring signifies rulership, right? And that's all I got right there. I land there.
Con, all praises, man. Way to bring that out too. Way to bring that out. So we're gonna close with Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1. And we're gonna go verses 6 through 10.
All right. This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, starting at verse 6. For wisdom is a loving spirit, and will not acquit a blasphemer of his words. For God is witness of his reins, and true beholder of his heart, and a hearer of his tongue. For the spirit of the Lord filleth the world, and that which containeth all things have knowledge of the voice.
All right. So if we literally keep these law, statutes, and commandments and apply them through our life, right? This is what we have, right? That we have the knowledge of his voice. So we know when something is right and when something is off. You know what I'm saying? And by that, according to what the name of this lesson is, right now we're talking about these wedding rings. And we have to have that wisdom and knowledge to know that this is idolatry. And we have to come up out of it. All right, go ahead.
All right. Verse 8. Therefore, he that speaketh unrighteous things cannot be hid. Neither shall vengeance, when it punisheth, pass by him. For inquisition shall be made into the counsels of the ungodly. And the sound of his word shall come unto the Lord for the manifestation of his wicked deeds. For the ear of jealousy heareth all things, and the noise of murmurings is not hid.
All right, so the ear of jealousy, they hears all things. You know what I'm saying? In the scriptures, one of the names of the Most High is called jealous, right? So he heareth all things. He knoweth all things, and he literally sends, his servants to go out and teach these type of things here. You know what I'm saying? So we have to understand, hey, that wedding ring is idolatry. Your love is not inside of it. There's no love tied to it. There's no symbolism of love. You know what I'm saying? The symbolism, according to the scriptures and in context, like the brother Mike Allah just brought out, represents rulership. So, brothers, if you hand in your woman a ring and bowing down on one knee, you're now doing women worship. And it is what it is. Whether you agree with it or not, that's what you're doing.
Okay.
So we just have to come up out of that. So, with that concludes today's lesson. We'll go into the calendar. Oh, Salakia. Salakia. Let me go back. Let me share my screen again. Share my screen again. And I just want to pull up the calendar just to show what we have upcoming and what we came out of, which was the Feast of Tabernacles. Most High willing. Mike Ali, you can still hear me, right?
Come.
Okay, come. All praises. So most High willing, everybody enjoyed Feast of Tabernacles. If you was able to gather, or if you had to do it at your home, you know what I'm saying? Most High willing, that thing was blessed and fruitful for you. Because these feast days, he always tell us, don't forsake the assembly or gathering together. These feast days that we have, that's for times of joyfulness, you know what I'm saying? And then there's also for us to learn. It's not always about a turn up when it comes down to these feast days, which is why we're supposed to read and go over scriptures during those days. As we seen in the scriptures during the Feast of Tabernacles, they were reading inside their tents, and that's what we're supposed to do, so it's all praise to the Most High, man, for giving us these feast days. By this being the 7th month, we literally have 3 inside of this 1 month. And that actuality, and when we look at it in the way of the Gregorian calendar, as y'all can see here, let me just pull this down some. We began the month with blowing of the trumpets, / the new moon. Then with Day of Atonement here, Feast of Tabernacles, 8 days. And then right at the end of the month on the Gregorian calendar, it's the beginning of the 8th month on the 31st. So we get 2 new moons within the same month on the Gregorian calendar, even though we recognize it as the 8th month. You know what I'm saying? So the Most High gives us plenty of things to celebrate. We don't have to do, no Easter, no Thanksgiving, no Halloween. We don't have to do any of that. You know what I'm saying? So, we do have that upcoming next week. All praise to the Most High for that. And I think next month we don't have anything. Just outside of the normal Shabbats every week. Right. Well, we do have a new moon on the 30th. And then again, to close out their year, we do have Feast of Dedication, right, on their wicked Christmas Eve. And I'm just not noticing too, on that Christmas Eve and on that Halloween, we have, the new moon on that Halloween, and we got Feast of Dedication on their Christmas Eve. So you gotta let people know that, so then they don't be like, oh, they're Israelites, they celebrating Halloween.
Go back to that. Go back to the October, the 31st.
October.
Yeah. For the new moon.
Okay.
Okay. So when you see October 31st, the 31st, which that falls on a Thursday, that's the sundown of the beginning. So this is going to be a back-to-back Sabbath, right? So you got Thursday sundown to Friday sundown, and then we jump right into the Sabbath. So these are back-to-back Sabbaths that we got to do. So definitely get yourself prepared from Sunday all the way to Wednesday or Thursday morning or afternoon. Get it all taken care of because we got back-to-back Sabbaths. All right.
Okay. All right, so Stop sharing the screen. All right, so all praises, man. All praises to the Most High. I do want to clear. I know I seen a comment. A brother had, monogamy with a question mark. And I know he did that right after we was reading the definition, because the definition literally says a union between one man and one woman. Didn't go into it, and I'm not really gonna go into it now. But we're not saying that, a man can only have one wife. You know what I'm saying? We know what the Lord says about that. You know what I'm saying? We know that men have multiple wives or whatever, but that wasn't the point of this purpose. The purpose of this lesson. The purpose of this lesson was to, focus on the ring and partially, about the marriage license. So that's the reason why we just, read that definition and didn't expound on it. But again, as y'all can see down at the ticker on the bottom, right, with L.O.I. Detroit, it has the phone number right there. If you're in the surroundings areas and you want to get in contact with us, to find out more, you can also email us. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we just went on the lionsisrael.com website where you can find the feast days. They have, they have different books and all of that things, all of those type of things on the website. You can also donate to the main cap as well from that. If you want to donate to us, our donation is Cash App right now is all we have, which is the $ capital L.O.I. Detroit with also a capital D, as you can see at the bottom of the screen. So if you was edified, send donations, whatever your heart desires. We out here to do the work. All right, we out here to do the work. We're trying to expand the ministry, whether it be in Lansing, whether it be in other states. We out here as servants of the Most High, trying to do the work. Also, you can subscribe to the channel, right? Again, our YouTube channel is L.O.I. Detroit. You can subscribe to it, like it, share it. We have other classes that we do. We mainly do them on Fridays around 9 p.m. That's when we mainly do our classes. So, again, like, subscribe, share. Most High willing, our brothers and sisters was edified. And with that, we say a Shar Shabbat. All praises to the Most High for this beautiful Sabbath. And, may the Most High continue to bless all of y'all households. So with that, we say Shalom.
Shalom.
Spacious air, reflecting the way of life under the Florida sky. Even the lobbies funnel in the great outdoors.
Chosen.
I was set apart for God's use.
Chosen.
I was set apart for God's use. Formed in His image.
Chosen. They say the chain of Shaitan is not that strong. They say his time is running out, he ain't got that long. They say murder, murder, kill, this is not that song. Said I won't amount to nothing, they got that wrong. Cause I was set apart and I was shown the light. And if I get the kingdom, I'll be clothed in white. 1/3 will be delivered and the rest were blinded. Their fate is set in stone, what you ain't read the fine print? Christ is gonna give a crown to us. In the end we'll have the nations bowing down to us, with their faces to the ground to us. It's the truth, as crazy as it sounds to us. Jacob forever rules, and we're his precious jewels. Showed us love and patience, put us above the nations. And that's the gospel, thank God for choosing me. Bad news for you, it's really good news for me.
I was set apart for God's use.
Chosen.
I was set apart for God's use. Formed in His image.
Let me tell you why. We have a different kind of shine, a different kind of mind. The rhythm's not the same, we're on a different type of time with a different kind of pace. a different kind of race. The season's not the same, we have a different kind of taste. A different kind of salt, we are so not them. Got my sword and my shield, man, I'm so locked in. And when I came to serve Yahweh, put my whole heart in. So I can't sit calm, I'm no Martin. Ha. And that's the reach, y'all, chosen to teach y'all. Every Sabbath you can find us in the streets, y'all. Dare ya Allah, my nickname is Priest, y'all. In the gym, they say that I'm a beast, y'all. Set apart, the nations all hating me. Set a trap, they lying in wait for me. Chris Paul, they don't wanna play with me. But if you love me, I'm asking that you pray with me. Cause
I was set apart for the Jews.
chosen.
I was set apart for the Jews. Formed in His image.
Chosen. And thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God have chosen thee to be a special people, chosen above all people that's on the face of the earth. That's Deuteronomy 7 and 6. That's you, black and Latin man. Chosen. That's you, black and Latin woman. Yeah. And we the chosen. Chosen.